The United States, a vibrant tapestry of cultures and dreams, currently boasts a population of 347 million people. That makes it the third largest country in the world, trailing only behind India and China. But the big question in front of us is, where will America's population stand by the end of this century? Will it keep growing, remain stable, or actually shrink? To understand where we're headed, we first need a quick look back. At the start of the 20th century, around 1900, the US had only about 76 million people, less than a quarter of today's size. Throughout the 1900s, population growth was driven by two main factors. 1. High fertility rates in the early decades. 2. Massive waves of immigration, especially from Europe and later from Latin America and Asia. After World War II, America experienced the famous baby boom, when fertility soared above 3.5 children per woman. That boom fueled rapid economic expansion and shaped modern America. But by the 1970s, things began to change. Fertility declined, immigration slowed, and growth rates started to flatten. Today, the U.S. fertility rate is around 1.6 births per woman, well below the replacement level of 2.1. That means American women, on average, are having fewer children than needed to keep the population stable without immigration. From the baby boom high of 3.5 child per woman, the fertility rates fell sharply in the 1970s to around 2.0. In the last 2 decades, fertility has hovered between 1.6 and 1.9, with sharp declines during economic downturns like the 2008 recession and COVID-19 pandemic. That means in the mid-20th century, the average American woman had over 3 children. And today, that number has plummeted to approximately 1.6 births per woman. If trends continue, experts predict U.S. fertility may stay between 1.4 and 1.7 by 2100. This low birth rate is already creating ripple effects. With fewer children being born, the younger population is shrinking, while older generations are growing larger. When we talk about population growth, it's essentially a balance sheet. Births minus deaths, plus net migration. For decades, births significantly outpaced deaths in the U.S., contributing to growth. However, with declining fertility and increasing life expectancy, the gap between births and deaths is narrowing. In fact, in recent years, the U.S. has been getting close to zero natural increase, meaning almost as many people die each year as are born. So, if birth rates are low and the population is aging, what's keeping the U.S. population from starting to shrink dramatically? The answer, unequivocally, is immigration. Immigration has always been the lifeblood of America, injecting new ideas, labor, and cultural dynamism. Historically, it has been a significant driver of population growth, compensating for periods of lower birth rates. So in the remaining years of 21st century, the U.S. population growth will primarily depend on the levels of immigration. Let's explore some potential future scenarios based on varying levels of immigration. 1. High immigration scenario, 1.5 million immigrants per year. If the U.S. maintains a high level of immigration, welcoming around 1.5 million new residents annually, projections suggest the population would keep growing, could reach approximately 440 million by 2100. This scenario would help offset low birth rates and maintain a younger demographic profile. 2. Medium immigration scenario, 1 million immigrants per year. Under a medium immigration scenario, with about 1 million immigrants annually, the U.S. population is projected to reach a peak of around 400 million in the 2080s. After the peak, population could see a stable period or slight decline by the end of the century. Overall, this still represents growth but at a slower pace. 3. Low immigration scenario, 500,000 immigrants per year. If immigration levels drop to around 500,000 per year, the U.S. population is projected to peak around 360 million in the mid-century and then slowly begin to decline, potentially reaching around 350 million by 2100, not much higher than today. 4. Zero immigration scenario. In a hypothetical zero immigration scenario, where no new immigrants enter the country, the picture changes dramatically. The U.S. population would likely peak much earlier, around 2035, and then enter a steep decline, potentially falling to under 300 million by 2100. This scenario would accelerate the aging process and lead to a significant contraction of the workforce. No matter which scenario unfolds, one trend is certain: America is aging. By 2050, about 1 in 5 Americans will be over 65. By 2100, the share of elderly will surpass that of children. This creates a challenge. Fewer workers supporting more retirees. The ratio of working-age adults to retirees, once 5-1, could fall to just 2-1 by the end of the century. A population decline and aging bring huge consequences. Economic growth slows because fewer workers mean lower productivity and smaller tax bases. Social security and healthcare systems strain under the weight of elderly care. Labor shortages could drive up wages but also slow industries that rely on younger workers. Innovation may slow as younger generations historically bring new ideas, energy, and entrepreneurship. At the same time, immigration could help balance this, bringing in younger workers, boosting diversity, and sustaining growth. So, the future of U.S. population will depend less on births and more on immigration policies and how America adapts to a rapidly aging society. The biggest concern here is that by 2100, the U.S. will have more old-age persons than young people. And to support them, new strategies must come into action, from boosting family support policies, to reforming immigration, to rethinking healthcare and retirement systems. Because the future of the U.S. population is not just about numbers. It's about the balance between young and old, work and retirement, growth and stability. What do you think? Share with us.